we were driving, we went to a revival. We lived in Tatum, Texas, a little town. My dad was chief of police there, and we lived there. And we went to a town called Henderson, Texas, for a revival. And while we were there, some neat things happened. I wasn't preaching, I just went there. Anything was going on, I went. You know, I figured sooner or later the preacher ain't going to show up and they're going to go, does anybody have a word? And I'm like, here I am. I'm ready to go. So I went everywhere, anywhere, anytime. And so we were coming back, and it was getting pretty cold outside. In the daytime, it'd still be warm, and the road would heat up. And so we were coming back late at night, country town, around these curves. I was driving at a slightly above the limit speed, and which just goes to show God will protect you even if you're stupid, okay, and disobedient a lot of times. So, but we were coming around this corner, and well, before we came around the corner, about 5 minutes before this, my wife said, because my kids were all asleep, they were all little and asleep in the back seat, laid out across the seats. And we were coming around, and she said, we need to pray in tongues. I said, okay. Started praying in tongues. Prayed in tongues about 5 minutes, turned this corner. When we turned this corner, there was a herd of cattle on this road. From fence to fence, a herd of cattle. There was nowhere to go. There was no way to steer through them. They were lying on the road because the road was still warm and it was cold out. And that's what cattle do. They move to the warm road. I don't know how they got to the fence, but there they were. So we're praying in tongues, and literally all I could do was stiffen my elbows because I thought, we're fixing to just wreck out right here. I didn't hit the brakes. Nothing changed, except I remember tightening my grip on the steering wheel. And the next thing we know, we're on the other side of the herd of cattle. I stopped the car, put it in park, we get out, we look around, cattle are looking at us. We're looking at them. To this day, I do not know what happened. I don't know how we got there. I didn't see anything, I didn't feel it. It's just 1 second we were here, the next second we were there, and no cattle moved. There was still no path through them. Nothing hit the car. The kids were still asleep. Me and my wife, we get out, we look, the cows are looking at us, we're looking at them. And all we knew to do was start praising God.